Hi everybody, this is Gary Foster from Brant Aerials. Thank you for tuning in today. As a special request on one of the live streams, somebody has requested that I show you my entire flight without editing, and we'll do that and give you a commentary on it. Let's roll the intro. All right, here we go. I didn't record the takeoff on this one, but once I got over the field, I started to record. I'm going to be name dropping throughout this, so stay tuned and see if you get mentioned. Mikey from Philly Drone Life is the one who suggested that this stuff be shown unedited, so Mikey, enjoy it. But stay tuned, you may yet be mentioned. Well, here we are. We've gotten a little lower and we're zeroing in on the combine. You can see a lot of snow in the fields across the way. Something that old guy in a drone wouldn't be familiar with. Mitch, you don't get snow down there, do you? Heard it was 85 degrees yesterday. And there's the neighbor's house. That's the corner up by my house there. We're getting a little closer to the combine. You can see how full it's getting. And there's a tractor with a bin. We'll see that tractor later on in the video being filled by the combine. They're going to have to go and wait for a truck to come and haul this stuff away. They'll be going to the elevator that's just down the road. You can see that elevator in another video on my channel. Just look for the elevator video. The elevator video, by the way, has two versions. There's a long version and a shorter, more edited version. I edit these things brutally. This 20 minutes of video that you'll see here has been edited down to what, 2.5 or 3 minutes in the final cut that was posted shortly after it was taken. Pretty soon the truck pulls up. Oh, here he comes. Now, I'm fairly high here, so there's not a lot of detail. I was in an adjacent field. Well, actually, I was at my house, which is sort of way off the top of the screen here. And I was able to see the wires. I didn't want to get tangled up with the wires. You'll see me come down. I'm pretty careful with those wires. You can see the shadow of the utility pole there, coming across the road in front of the truck. Now you see, this stuff gets cut out because it's fairly mundane. There's not a lot of interest. This guy's pretty good backing up this tractor, by the way. You'll see the combine's pulling up now. Now this wasn't a particularly good shot. It wasn't getting much detail, so you'll see me descend and go closer to the back of the truck to get more of the combine in. There you go, you see a van going down the road. Another shout out here for Roger at Canadian Drone Hub. Thank you so much for all your help in getting me to 500 subs last week. It's amazing the crowd we're getting, the community we're building. There was a time when Lloyd Mendenhall, the grumpy vlogger, and Mel from 400 AGL were like unreachable gods. You know, they were sort of the sort of people that were featured on such big time shows as Ken Heron. And then appearing online on live streams like Rogers just seemed like I was a nobody on there with somebody like Johnny Carson. This kind of snow should be familiar to people like Hugh at Asgard Studios and Mark at Centroid. You guys get this kind of weather. Now some of this got into the final video. We're getting some pretty good detail here. Those wires are starting to get close, but I'm keeping an eye on them, that's for sure. Combine looks like it's almost empty and ready to go. As soon as he's empty, he'll head off. There he goes. He'll swing that arm back in behind the combine and head back out in the field. They'll probably follow him here. Because watching this other grain bin empty is like watching paint dry. Like I said, editing for me is pretty brutal. If it's not perfectly shot and there's nothing changing, I'll drop it out. Like I said, this 20 minutes of video was cut down to under 3 minutes, I think. This is a side-on view again of that combine. I'll get myself lined up behind to get a little better view of what's actually going on here. I'm going to have to start recording my screen, and it'll give you a better idea of the altitude that I'm at and such, battery life. There I am trying to line up right behind him so I can follow him up this row. Looks like I've gone a little beyond. I use the rule of thirds. I have the screen divided up into 9 sections, 3 by 3, and I try and keep my subject centered or in one of the thirds. Now following like this, you have to be fairly careful. You don't want to get too close to the back of the combine. There's a lot of trash coming out the back, a lot of dust, so you want to keep that out of your drone. So I'll get a little closer, but I'm very careful to stay clear of all this thrash coming out. Thrash and trash coming out the back. Now you see all that up and down, that would have all been cut. No matter how good this footage was, you wouldn't have seen that in a final cut. I would never include that. That's just me not knowing how to operate the damn thing. Now I know this is running long. We're about halfway through. This is what was requested, so This is what we're going to continue with. There I am letting the combine catch up. I generally tend to cut things down to 3 to 5 seconds, as many as 12 seconds if it's really interesting. I hope you're enjoying this, Mikey. This is what you wanted to see, so here it is. We'll see what happens when it's published. We'll see how much of it gets viewed. Generally, I get about 1.5 minutes of viewing out of a 3-minute video, so we'll see. We'll let it go. Here we go. Yeah, right about here we're starting to run out of battery. The return to home has been initiated. Drone's going up and turning around, heading towards the house. There you see the house center frame. Whoop, there it is, closing in on the bottom. Our house is just to the left of the, the house is just to the right of the empty silo that you see there. We're cruising along here at 65 meters, just a little over 100 feet. Return to home altitude is 65 meters, so make sure we're clear of all the trees, silos, anything else by a lot. You'll see the drone turns to the north now to its original orientation, getting ready to land, and we'll be changing the batteries momentarily. There you see the empty silo again. Here we are now on the second battery. We're flying along here at 43 meters up. Part of this was used in the final clip, in the final cut, that is. Here we see the grain bin being towed by the tractor and being filled by the combine. He's emptying out. We're going backwards here at about 9 kilometers per hour, just keeping up with them. We're still at about 40 meters high. Now this part of the shot may have been included in the final clip. I got the part where he pulls away, where he's filled up and he pulls away from the combine. Yeah, that was included in the final clip right there. Now I don't believe I put this in the final video, but you'll see in the final, if you go back and look at that one, you'll see the tractor pulling up and starting to unload at the end of the row here. Now I'm backing out pretty wide here. I'm at 65 meters above ground, and that's at 100 feet. So Combine makes a fairly wide turn here so that he can get back into the row adjacent. Normally what you would do is you'd take the row to the right, but he's going, or you take the row to the left, but he's going to the right. I think he has the intention there of being able to offload as he fills up on the next pass by heading west. He's heading west now. North is to the right of your screen. So we're still climbing. We're at 100 meters now, 300 feet. Again, I couldn't see any point in putting this in the final video. There's no real detail here. Although I think when I was shooting it, I was just sort of getting an idea of how big this field was. I'm not sure what they grow for crops in the UK, although Steve from Aerial Views and Histories UK could probably tell us what that's about. If you see it, put it down in the comments. This is a part of our county that's called Fairfield Plain, and it's called a plain because it's so flat. It's a glacial formation, receding glaciers. There are areas that also have moraines, which Don Joyce from his channel would be able to tell you about moraines and how they're formed. Here I am pulling back. I'm going backwards here at about 12 kilometers per hour, 12 to 15 kilometers an hour, to give you a more complete view of what the whole scene is like. Again, I'm still at about 100 meters, so still some 300 meters up. There you can see he's still unloading the grain into that trailer. There you see the empty silo again. My house will be in view on the left, bottom left in a moment. You don't really see the house. My yard in the front is covered in some very large spruce trees, probably 70 feet high. Now the house that I live in used to be a farmhouse for this farm, for this 100-acre plot that you see right here. They separated the property off. We have 3/4 of an acre down here in the corner. The area in the foreground that's white snow was soybeans this year. It's long since been harvested. Here we're going forward, probably going to try and catch up with that combine again. There's another trailer full of grain, I think, going by. Or might be a transport. The buildings in front and to the left of the combine there used to be kilns for drying tobacco. The one on the very left, that's not doubled up, was also a hangar used to keep the farmers' helicopter. They used to use the helicopter in tobacco drying days to push warm air down on the crop to keep frost from forming. So it wasn't uncommon to wake up in the morning and look out your bedroom window and see a helicopter 15 feet off the ground. And here we're initiating a return to home, end of the second battery. There's the homestead again from behind. You can see the big trees in the front. Block the view from the other side. And that's going to about wrap it up. So thanks to everybody for watching. I'd like to mention Pusa Studios, Andrew and Ksenia, who've been instrumental in encouraging me to continue this YouTube adventure. Also to Russ at Darnabout Northwest for his encouragement. Starcop, of course. Green Bay Wacky, Cab 7. Oh, there's my landing pad. This video is over. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know if you like this long form video. And if it gets some view time and some likes, I'll make another one. Thanks again.